He is a 1998 graduate of the Air Assault course and is currently the squadron commander for 132 CAV. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker.
Class 2515 to rest. And good morning, distinguished guests, family, friends, and graduates of Air Assault Class 2515. Thank you for attending today's ceremony. Having stood in the same formation as all of you 18 years ago, I couldn't tell you who the guest speaker was that day. All I can tell you is at the end of the day, I want to get home, put up my feet and relax after a hard 12-mile road march. So you've earned what you've done. While a few of you may state that you found this course rather easy, I imagine that the remainder, the actual truthful ones standing with you, find yourselves challenged by some or potentially many aspects of the 10-day course. For some, it was the obstacle course that you worked tirelessly on in the weeks leading up to 0 day, or the 12-mile road march you completed today. For others, it was that darn A22 cargo bag that no one can seem to find any of the gigs on. And for a few others, you never felt quite comfortable rappelling or fast roping from the tower or from a perfectly functioning aircraft. All of you were able to overcome varying degrees of adversity within the course and are standing here today as brand new Air Assault graduates. You have all demonstrated that you can meet all of the uncompromising standards set forth in the course, and those that could not are not standing with you today, as it should be. For those of you unfamiliar with the Air Assault course, for 41 years, the 101st Airborne Division, Air Assault, has been training students to become Air Assault qualified soldiers. To earn the right to enroll in the course, one has to pass 0 day, which begins like all Army schools at 0 dark 30 and progresses with a 2-mile run followed by the obstacle course, which you can't see, but it's down to our south. Many prospective students do not make it through 0 day. For those that do, they earn the right to enroll in a 10-day rigorous course where they're required to execute high standards, and they progress through 3 different phases. Phase 1 is the combat air assault operations, Phase 2 is rigging and sling load operations, and Phase 3 is rappelling. And then they culminate with a 12-mile road march in less than 3 hours with 35 pounds of kit. And I can tell you a lot of old-timers say, hey, it was harder back in the day. I can tell you 18 years ago it was a little bit easier. We carried 25 pounds. So your standard has gotten harder over time. The Savalowski Air Assault School is named for a legendary non-commissioned officer. Command Sergeant Major Walter James Savalowski, a Lithuanian immigrant who settled in Chicago and had a stellar career as a boxer for over 12 years. Basically, he was 33-2 as a professional. He ended his boxing career in an automobile accident, and he entered the Army in June of 1941, just ahead of World War II. World War II began, and he found himself fighting in the Pacific, and he fought with distinction in the Solomon Islands, Guadalcanal, and the Philippines. After World War II, he served in the Korean War, and he served with 187 Regimental Combat Team, the Rakkasans, and then he served with the 25th Infantry Regiment. In 1963, in one of the first waves of combat advisors to Vietnam, Command Sergeant Major Savalowski went to Vietnam for the first of his 3 tours there. There, during that tour, he served as an advisor to the 32nd Vietnamese Ranger Battalion. After returning to the United States and after service in the Dominican Republic, which a lot of people don't know, but was a CIB qualifying event, it was actual combat in the Dominican Republic in 1965. He returned to Vietnam in 1966 as a first sergeant in 2nd Battalion, 502nd Infantry, known then as the Strike Force Widowmakers. Strike Force Widowmakers were attached to 1st Brigade, and they were sent all over the country of Vietnam in helicopters, conducting air mobile and air assault operations, fighting wherever the enemy was and fighting where the fighting was the worst. It was during that tour as a first sergeant that he earned the Distinguished Service Cross and the Silver Star. He returned home at the end of his tour, and he did what all good NCOs do. He went back and he taught cadets, he taught future officers. He went to West Point and taught future officers, and he instilled in all those that he taught trust and confidence in the NCO Corps. Following that assignment, he went back to Vietnam, this time as a Command Sergeant Major of the same battalion he was a first sergeant in, the Strike Force Widowmakers, 2nd and 502nd. And there, he served his time well for an entire year, and then he redeployed back from Vietnam. In the end, Command Sergeant Major Savalowski served in all 3 infantry brigade combat teams that are currently in the 101st Airborne Division at one time or another or through attachments. And he was remembered by those that served with him as a fearless combat leader and a person with a heart as big as he was, and as big as the country he loved. As newly minted air assault graduates, I challenge each of you to take the knowledge and expertise you gained here in the Sobolewski Air Assault School back to your units to help those that need a push. Use Command Sergeant Major Sobolewski's example of selfless service, unwavering commitment, and his big heart to motivate you to always do the right thing and push your subordinates to excel in all that they do. Just like your air assault instructors, never compromise on standards and always demand the best from your formations. And don't be surprised when your formations rise to the challenge and deliver, just like you just did as newly qualified air assault soldiers. Thank you all for your selfless service to this great nation, and I wish you continued success. Air Assault.
Ladies and gentlemen, in each class, there are those soldiers who distinguish themselves amongst their peers. The Distinguished Honor Graduate for Class 2515 is Specialist McDade from HHC 126. The Distinguished Honor Graduate is being presented a Tomahawk donated by retired Sergeant Major Sean Rowe. Sergeant Major Rowe is a Distinguished Honor Graduate of his class in 1996. He currently works for First Command here in Clarksville, Tennessee. The Full March Champion with a time of 2 hours and 5 minutes is also Specialist McDade from HHC 126. With the activation of the 11th Air Assault Division on 15 February 1963 at Fort Benning, Georgia, the division commander, then Brigadier General Harry W. O. Kennard, began to fashion an operational reality from a vision, what later came to be called Air Mobility and is now named Air Assault. Part of this mission was to create a state of mind among the members of the division, Sky Soldiers as they were called, to instill in them belief in the new air mobile concept. Air mobility had to do more than merely provide infantry troops with helicopters for rides. It needed to train all ground elements in conjunction with all air elements to create a well-honed combat fighting team. To differentiate 11th Air Assault Division Sky Soldiers from other Army units, General Kennard had designed and established a special badge that his Sky Soldiers could wear as a mark of their air mobility expertise. This became the 11th Air Assault Division Air Mobile Badge, first issued in the spring of 1964. In order to qualify for this badge, each soldier had to successfully rappel from a helicopter, 3 times from 60 feet and twice from 120 feet. Each soldier had to pass aircraft safety procedures in aircraft orientation, hand and arm signals, combat assault operations, prepare, inspect, and rig equipment for a sling load, and be able to lash down equipment carried in cargo helicopters. The original Air Mobile Badge was awarded only to members assigned to the 11th Air Assault Division, and then only for a short time. In Vietnam, air mobility operations and proficiency became an accepted U.S. Army tactic, still taught today. In 1994, the Air Assault School was renamed in honor of retired Command Sergeant Major Walter J. Sobolewski. Ladies and gentlemen, these soldiers standing in front of you have met every challenge and achieved every standard. They are now fully prepared for their assignment in the greatest and most powerful division in the world. Please join me in a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand and join the graduating class in singing the Screaming Eagle song and the Army song.
Right down through the skies. ceremony. Dismiss the class. 5, 2, 5, 1, 5. Dismiss.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's
This is for you guys at home that weren't able to be here. Thank you for letting us watch out for your boy. Where's he at? Where is he?
I like you guys.
Where is he, dude? You better get over here and say hey. Where is he, man? Where'd he go? Where is he, dude? I lost him. You guys know where he's at?
What?